They called him suicidal for using a catalog gun until it killed 24 Japanese snipers. But the 24th, that one would haunt him for 35 years. April 28, 1944, southern Bougainville, Solomon Islands. The river runs shallow here, maybe knee-deep where the current slows around the bend. Two men lie in the water. Neither has moved for 7 hours. Both are hunters. Both were taught by mountains 10,000 miles apart. Both hold bolt-action rifles aimed at positions 30 yards distant. And in exactly 90 seconds, one of them will be dead. William Hartman, age 26, lies partially submerged in the shallows on the eastern bank. Mud cakes his face. Vegetation tangles through the netting draped over his helmet. Leeches have attached to his legs and arms. He ignores them. His hands grip a Springfield 1903 rifle. The scope mounted on top came from a sporting goods catalog. Cost him $47. 3 months of saved pay. His platoon sergeant called it a mailbox gun, said it would get him killed within a week. That was 6 weeks ago. 23 confirmed kills ago. Across the river, invisible in the undergrowth. Takeshi Yamamoto waits. Age 44. Nagano Prefecture mountain hunting before the war turned him into something else. Sergeant in the Imperial Japanese Army. Credited with 46 American kills. The Marines call him the Shadow. He calls himself a dead man who hasn't stopped breathing yet. His Arisaka Type 97 sniper rifle is aimed at the exact spot where the American will have to reveal himself when the patrol comes. Both men breathe in perfect rhythm. Both learn the same lesson from different teachers in different languages. The mountain rewards patience. Rush and you die. So they wait. The sun climbs, the heat builds, insects swarm, muscles cramp and release. Neither man moves. In 90 seconds, everything changes. But first, you need to understand how two men raised with identical values by the mountains they loved ended up in each other's crosshairs in a jungle neither called home. Pennsylvania autumn, 1938. Will Hartman, age 20, walks through the Allegheny foothills with his father. Samuel Hartman moves like water through these woods. 60 years old, served in the First War. Supply Corps. Saw enough of death from a distance that he never wanted to speak about it. Came home and taught his son to hunt instead. To take life with respect, not waste. This morning they left the house at 4 frost on the ground, stars still bright overhead. Now the sun filters through oak and maple branches turned gold and red. Their boots crunch through fallen leaves. Samuel stops, raises one hand. Will freezes mid-step. A white-tailed deer maybe 80 yards ahead. Young buck. 4 points. Moving through a clearing. Samuel gestures. Your shot. Will raises the family rifle. Springfield bolt action. His grandfather carried it. His great-grandfather before that. The woodstock is worn smooth from 3 generations of Hartman hands. Will settles the iron sights. Breathes out slowly. Squeezes. The rifle cracks. The buck drops. Clean kill. Will starts forward, but Samuel grips his shoulder. Wait. They stand motionless. Watching. Making sure. After 2 minutes, Samuel nods. They approach the deer together. Samuel kneels, places one hand on the animal's flank. Still warm. Every bullet is sacred son. Samuel's voice is quiet. We don't waste. We don't make them suffer. You take the life clean. You use every part. You respect what the animal gave you. This deer died so we have meat this winter. That means something. Remember that. Will nods. He's heard this before. We'll hear it again. But today, it settles differently. Today, he feels the weight of it. Samuel looks at his son. The light through the trees catches in the older man's eyes. You're a natural hunter, Will. Better than I ever was. Better than your grandfather. You got the patience, the discipline, the respect. Those are gifts. Use them right. Will doesn't know it then, but 6 years later, he'll remember this moment while lying in a river 10,000 miles away. Remember his father's hands on the deer. Remember the word respect. Remember that taking a life even when necessary demands something from the man who does it. Nagano Prefecture, Japan. Same autumn, 1938. Takeshi Yamamoto climbs the slope of Mount Norikura with his daughter. Akiko is 12 years old, small for her age but strong. She carries her own rifle, .22 caliber. Her father taught her to shoot when she was 8, taught her to track when she was 9. Now he teaches her philosophy. They're hunting sero. Mountain goat, difficult prey, shy, alert, the kind of animal that teaches patience or teaches nothing. They've been stalking this one for 4 hours. Akiko's legs burn from the climb. Her arms ache from holding the rifle ready. But she doesn't complain. Her father taught her that complaining scares the prey and shames the hunter. Yamamoto stops, points. Akiko sees it. Male Sero may be 100 meters upslope, browsing on mountain vegetation. Unaware. Yamamoto gestures. She shakes her head. Too far, not confident in the shot. He nods. Good. Know your limits. They wait. The Sero moves closer, browsing. 40 meters now. Akiko raises the rifle, breathes the way her father taught her. Fires. The Sero falls. They climb to it together. Yamamoto kneels beside the animal, speaks quietly in Japanese. Thank you for your life. We will honor what you give us. He looks at his daughter. Remember, Akiko, the mountain gives and the mountain takes. We are both hunter and hunted. Today, we take a life. Someday the mountain will take ours. This is balance. This is respect. Akiko watches her father's weathered hands on the Sero's flank, watches the reverence in his movements. She doesn't know that in 3 years she'll lose him to a war. Doesn't know that 41 years from now, she'll kneel beside an American on this same mountain planting seeds for both their fathers. All she knows is that her father is teaching her something important, something about death and respect and the debt all hunters owe. Yamamoto pulls a small knife from his belt. It's old, 400 years old, katana blade converted for hunting, passed down through his family. He begins a field dressing the Sero, shows Akiko each step, explains why. The mountain demands we use everything. Waste nothing. Honor the gift. Before they descend, Yamamoto plants a seed, cypress. And in 100 years, this will be a tree, he tells her. One death, one life. The mountain is satisfied. Akiko helps him cover the seed with soil. She will remember this ritual, will repeat it dozens of times, will teach it to her own son. And in 1980, she will perform it with an American veteran named William Hartman, while both of them weep, December 1942. Will Hartman enlists in the United States Marine Corps. He's 24 years old. The country has been at war for a year. Pearl Harbor changed everything. Boys from Pennsylvania, coal towns and farms, are signing up by the hundreds. Will stands in line at the recruitment office in Harrisburg, signs his name, raises his right hand, swears the oath. Boot camp is Paris Island, South Carolina heat, sand fleas, drill instructors who scream until their voices crack. Will excels at marksmanship training, expert qualification every time, consistent, calm under pressure. The mountain patience his father taught him translates perfectly to the rifle range. After one qualification, the range instructor pulls him aside. You ever think about being a sniper? Hartman? Will blinks. Didn't know that was an option. The instructor shakes his head. It's not. Not officially. Marine Corps doesn't have a sniper program. We got designated marksmen at battalion level, but that's it. Doctrine says volume of fire wins battles, but you got the skills for precision work. Just thought you should know. Will thinks about this. That night in the barracks, he writes a formal request, asks to be assigned as a designated marksman, asks for a scoped rifle. 2 weeks later, the request comes back. Denied. Standard issue M1 Garand for all riflemen. No exceptions. The rejection stings, but Will doesn't argue. He's a Marine now. Marines follow orders. What he doesn't know is that this denial will save his life. Because the Marine Corps doesn't issue scoped rifles, Will order his own. Will mount it himself. Will learn the weapon intimately because he built it. And that intimate knowledge, that personal connection to an unauthorized piece of equipment, will make the difference between 24 kills and 0. January 1944, Bougainville. The island is hell with trees. Heat that makes Pennsylvania summer feel like autumn. Humidity so thick you can chew it. Jungle so dense you can't see 10 feet. And Japanese snipers who've turned the canopy into a killing gallery. Will's first week on the island, 7 Marines die to invisible shooters. He watches Private Martinez drop mid-sentence, talking about his girl back in Arizona. Then his head snaps back. Single shot, through the skull. By the time Martinez hits the ground, the squad is diving for cover. They stay pinned for 4 hours. Never see the shooter. Never return effective fire. Finally, an artillery barrage forces the Japanese sniper to withdraw. They recover Martinez's body after dark. 22 years old, engaged, dead before he knew what hit him. Will lies in his fighting hole that night and makes a decision. He has $400 saved from his enlistment bonus and combat pay. He pulls out a catalog, Sears and Roebuck, flips to the sporting goods section, finds a Weaver 330C commercial hunting scope, $47. He fills out the order form, pays for expedited shipping to the rear echelon supply depot. 3 months delivery time. While he waits, Japanese snipers kill 11 more Marines in his company. Will watches good men die, watches his friends bleed out in places they can't be reached because the sniper is still watching. Waiting. The frustration builds like pressure in a boiler. The Marine Corps has no answer, no counter-sniper doctrine, no scoped rifles below battalion level, no training for the kind of patient, methodical hunting that these Japanese specialists excel at. The scope arrives in late February. Will picks it up from supply. The Marines working the depot give him strange looks. "What are you going to do with that Hartman hunt deer?" Will doesn't answer. He takes the scope back to his tent, takes apart his issued Springfield rifle, fashions a scope mount from scrap aluminum, files it down by hand, tests the fit, adjusts, tests again. It takes him 3 days to get it right. The mount is crude but functional. He torques it tight. Bore sights the scope using a method his father taught him for hunting rifles. Takes it to the range. First shot is 2 inches high, 1 inch right at 100 yards. He adjusts. Second shot is dead center. Third shot touches the second. He's satisfied. The rifle is ready. He's ready. Now he just needs the chance to use it. His platoon sergeant sees the modified rifle and loses his mind. "Hartman, what in the name of God is that?" Will explains. Sergeant Kowalski, a veteran of Guadalcanal, shakes his head. "That's unauthorized. That's a violation of uniformity regulations. That scope is going to glint and give away your position. Japanese snipers are going to see you coming a mile away. You're painting a target on your own back." Will meets his eyes. "Respectfully, Sergeant, I'd rather have a target on my back and a chance to shoot back than no target and no chance. We're losing men every day to snipers we can't see. I can see them. With this. Let me try." Kowalski stares at him, then nods slowly. "I think you're suicidal, Hartman, but I've watched 18-year-old kids die in the last month to these bastards. So you do what you need to do. Just don't get yourself killed on my watch." The other Marines in Will's squad are less charitable. They start calling the rifle the mailbox gun. "Hey, Hartman, you order that piece of junk from a magazine. You gonna hunt some Japs or shoot some rabbits." One Lance Corporal named of Burke is particularly vocal. "That's a toy. You need a real weapon. A Garand, semi-auto, 8 rounds, fast follow-up shots. That bolt gun? You get one chance, you miss, you're dead. And that scope might as well hang a sign that says, 'Shoot me.'" Will says nothing, just cleans his rifle every night. Checks the scope alignment. Practice at estimating ranges using tree bark and shadows. The mockery continues, but he ignores it. He knows what he knows. His father taught him to hunt. The mountain taught him patience. The mailbox gun is going to work. He just needs to prove it. March 18th, 1944. The proof comes in blood. A Marine Patrol 7 men moves through Grid Sector Green 7, ridgeline area, dense jungle, poor visibility. They're looking for a Japanese observation post. What they find instead is a perfect ambush. 30 seconds of contact. 3 Marines dead. Headshots, throat shots, precision fire from an elevated position they can't locate. The 4 survivors retreat under covering fire. Drag their wounded, leave their dead because recovering them means walking into the kill zone. 2 hours later, a second patrol tries the same route. 1 dead, 2 wounded. No enemy contact beyond the bullets themselves. Standard suppression fire is useless. Can't suppress what you can't see. Artillery can't be called in. Friendly positions too close. The company commander, Captain Morrison, needs someone to go in and eliminate the threat directly. Will volunteers. Kowalski tries to talk him out of it. "It's suicide, Hartman, even with that scope. You're going after Duggan snipers who've had days to prepare positions. They got perfect concealment, perfect angles. You're walking into a meat grinder. Will's response is simple. Someone has to go, Sergeant. I'm the only one with the equipment to do it. Morrison assigns him a spotter. Corporal Danny Reeves, Montana boy, grew up hunting elk and mule deer. Understands the mindset even if he doesn't trust the mail order scope. They move out at dawn, March 19th. The jungle is still shrouded in mist. Visibility less than 30 yards. The air is thick, every breath heavy. Their uniforms soak through with sweat before they've gone 50 meters. Will leads, moves in slow motion. Each boot placed carefully, testing the ground before committing weight, eyes scanning, canopy overhead, undergrowth ahead, flanks, behind, constantly moving, constantly assessing. Reeves follows 10 yards back, covers the angles Will can't watch. They communicate with hand signals. No voice. Sound carries in the jungle. Gives away position. Gets you killed. They reach the ridgeline perimeters at 0700 hours. Enter the kill zone where the previous patrols were hit. Will drops to a crouch, then to his belly, crawls forward through mud and leaf litter. The Springfield cradled in his elbows, scope protected. He can see the bodies of the fallen Marines ahead, still lying where they dropped. Young men, sprawled in the unnatural poses that only death creates, their weapons beside them. No one has been willing to risk recovery. The sight hits Will like a fist. These could be boys from his hometown. Could be his younger brother if Samuel Jr. was old enough. Could be him. He forces the emotion down, focuses, studies the bodies, the wound placement, headshots, throat shots, works backward, calculates angles, firing positions. Japanese snipers tie themselves into trees, use harnesses to stabilize their aim, stay in position for days, bring minimal supplies, remain absolutely motionless. Camouflage so effective, they become part of the tree itself. Will scans the canopy, not looking for a man, looking for wrongness, anomalies, unnatural shapes, shadow inconsistencies, anything that breaks the organic chaos. He lets his focus soften, stops trying to see specific things, starts looking for what doesn't belong. His father taught him this. When you're watching for deer, don't look for deer. Look for movement where there shouldn't be movement. Look for stillness where everything should move. Look for patterns that break. Reeves whispers. Movement. Left flank. 40 yards. Will shifts his aim. Peers through the scope. Adjusts for the dim light filtering through the canopy. Nothing. Then a flicker. Not movement. Wrongness. A section of branch that doesn't sway when a breeze pushes through. Will focuses, slows his breathing, heartbeat steady, the crosshairs settle. He sees it, a shape, human, wrapped in camouflage netting, nestled in the fork of a banyan tree 20 feet off the ground. The Japanese sniper is looking the other direction, scanning the approach route the previous patrols used, waiting for more Americans to walk into his kill zone. Well exhales half a breath, squeezes the trigger. The Springfield cracks. The recoil punches his shoulder. The scope loses the target for a fraction of a second. When he reacquires, the shape is falling, tumbling through branches, hits the ground with a wet thud. Reeves whispers, confirmed, one down. But Will's shot has given away his position. Within seconds, two more rifle cracks echo from different positions. Bullets snap through the air inches above Will's head. Splinter bark from the tree he's using for cover. Multiple snipers, a coordinated team. The ones who killed the Marines weren't working alone. They were part of a network. Will rolls left, puts a tree trunk between himself and the incoming fire. His mind races through geometry. Two shooters, one northeast, one due east, both elevated. He can't engage both simultaneously. Reeves crawls up beside him, breathing hard, eyes wide. They're in a triangulated kill zone. This is exactly what the Japanese snipers do. Establish overlapping positions, create fields of fire with no safe space, pin down the Americans and bleed them. Will makes the decision instantly. They take the fight to the enemy now, while he knows where they are. He points toward the northeast contact, gestures for Reeves to provide suppressive fire on his signal. Reeves nods, grips his M1 Garand. Will counts silently, visualizes the movements he needs to make, the angles he needs to achieve. Then he barks the signal. Go! Reeves rises to a crouch, fires rapid shots toward the northeast position, not aiming to kill, aiming to force the sniper's head down, to disrupt his aim, to buy seconds. Will shifts right, scope up, searching the eastern canopy. There, another shape, palm tree position. Partially obscured by fronds, the sniper is tracking Reeves, lining up a shot on the man providing suppressive fire. Will fires first. The bullet strikes center mass. The sniper jerks backward. His rifle falls. His body slumps against the harness, holding him in the tree. 2 down. The suppressive fire stops. Silence crashes back over the jungle, broken only by distant bird calls. Will waits, motionless. Scope sweeping for a third contact. Minutes pass, each one stretching. Nothing. Reeves moves forward cautiously, confirms the second kill. The threat is eliminated. They recover the bodies of the fallen Marines. It's brutal work. The bodies are heavy, dead weight in the truest sense. The jungle terrain makes every yard a battle. By the time they reach the company perimeter, both men are exhausted, covered in mud and blood. Captain Morrison greets them with a quiet nod. No speeches, just grim satisfaction. Later that night, Morrison pulls Will aside. What you did matters, Hartman. 3 enemy snipers means dozens of Marine lives saved. Will just nods. He doesn't feel heroic, feels tired and found and angry it came to this. But he also feels something else. Purpose. For the first time since landing on Bougainville, his skills are being used correctly. The mountain patience his father taught him, the respect for the hunt, the discipline. It all means something here. It saves lives, American lives, his brothers. That night, the other Marines watch him differently. The mockery is gone, replaced by something else, respect maybe, or just recognition that the mailbox gun works. Word spreads fast. Within a week, Will is being tasked for every counter-sniper mission in the sector. What Will doesn't know is that he's been watched. That 400 yards away, hidden in a position Will never spotted, Takeshi Yamamoto observed the entire engagement through his own scope. Watch the American work. Watch the patience, the discipline, the clean kills. Recognize something he hasn't seen in this war. A real hunter, not a soldier pretending to be a sniper. An actual hunter who understands what it means to take a life with respect. Yamamoto lowers his rifle. He could have shot the American, had clear line of sight twice, chose not to. This one is different, he thinks in Japanese. This one hunts like we hunt. Like I taught my students. He will be worthy. And so Yamamoto makes a decision. He will not kill this American quickly. He will test him, study him, push him. And when the American is ready, when he has proven himself through enough kills, then they will meet, hunter to hunter. The way the mountain demands. That night, moving through the jungle like smoke, Yamamoto places a small piece of rice paper on a path he knows the American will take. The paper has Japanese characters brushed in careful calligraphy. When it's translated the next day, the message is simple. The hunter is now hunted. Will reads the translation, feels ice in his stomach. Someone out there knows what he's doing. Someone is watching. Someone is waiting. The war just became personal in a way he didn't expect. He folds the paper, puts it in his pocket, sits down and begins cleaning his rifle. The mailbox gun that everyone mocked. The Springfield with the catalog scope that's already saved lives and will save many more. He doesn't know that the man who left that note will become the most important enemy he ever faces. Doesn't know that 35 years from now, he'll be standing on a mountain in Japan planting seeds with that man's daughter finding peace he didn't know was possible. All he knows right now is that somewhere in this jungle, there's a Japanese sniper hunting him. And Will Hartman, son of Samuel, student of the mountain, is going to hunt him right back. The tally grows. March 23rd. Will Hartman lies prone in a ravine designated Red 4. He's been in this position for 4 hours. The sun climbs overhead. Temperature hits the 90s. Humidity makes every breath feel like drowning. Insects crawl over his hands, his neck, his face. He doesn't move, doesn't brush them away. Movement means death. Somewhere on the opposite ridge, 230 yards distant, a Japanese sniper team operates from a concealed pit. Intelligence says they've been there for days. Killed 5 Marines. Will has watched their pattern. The primary shooter is disciplined. Fires only when he has a certain kill. His spotter feeds him ranges and wind calls. They work like a machine, efficient, deadly. Will studies the ridgeline through his scope, not looking for men, looking for shadows that don't belong, discolorations in the earth, angles that seem wrong. His father's voice echoes in his mind. The forest shows you what you need to see if you're patient enough to wait. Will waits. A Marine patrol passes through the valley below. Bait, authorized by Captain Morrison specifically to draw fire. Will hates using his brothers as bait, but there's no other way to find these ghosts. The patrol moves carefully, weapons ready. Every man knows he might be the one who draws the shot. It comes at 1300 hours. A single crack. A Marine falls. Private Henderson, Ohio farm boy, 19 years old, talks about his father's dairy cows. Will doesn't watch Henderson fall, watches the opposite ridge, sees it. Tiny puff of displaced earth, muzzle blast. There. He focuses on that spot, sees the shadow now, barely visible. The primary shooter is dug in deep, camouflaged perfectly. Only the rifle barrel protrudes. A shadow within shadows, Will calculates. 230 uphill angle, slight crosswind from the east. He makes the adjustments, not thinking, just doing. The way his father taught him, the way the mountain demands. He fires. The Springfield bucks. Through the scope, he sees the impact. The bullet punches through the primary's upper chest. The man jerks, goes still. One down, but Will knows the drill. The spotter will react. Will cycles the bolt, ejects the spent brass, chambers a new round, keeps the scope on target. The spotter rises, trying to drag his partner back into cover. Panic overrides training. Will's second shot takes him through the head, both down in under 3 seconds. Will doesn't feel triumph, feels the weight. 4 confirmed kills now. 4 men who woke up this morning, who had families, histories, dreams. Now they're just bodies cooling in the tropical heat. That evening, Will searches the position, finds a carved wooden bird in the primary's pocket. Small, intricate, some kind of protection charm. He pockets it without examining it closely. Doesn't want to think about the man who carved it, the man he killed, March 24th through 26th. 3 more missions, 3 more kills. A spider hole sniper Will finds by watching leaves move when there's no wind. A sniper positioned in a bombed-out tree trunk betrayed by scope glint. A harness sniper in a massive jungle fig taken with a 300-yard shot that required every bit of skill Will possesses. 7 confirmed kills. The men stop calling him Mailbox. Start calling him just Hartman, with a different tone. Respect mixed with something else. Wariness maybe, like he's becoming something other than human. Will feels it too. The distance growing between him and the rest of the platoon. He operates alone now, prefers it. Fewer complications, no one to protect but himself. At night, he cleans his rifle obsessively, writes nothing in his journal, just marks tallies in the corner of the back page. 7 lines, 7 lives taken, 7 debts owed to the mountain. He thinks about his father, wonders what Samuel would say about this, about using hunting skills to kill men. Deep down, Will knows. His father would understand, would say that protecting your brothers is the highest use of the skills, but understanding doesn't make it easier. What Will doesn't know is that at each kill site, subtle signs exist that someone else was there first. Disturbed earth in patterns that aren't natural, broken twigs arranged in ways that mean nothing to American eyes, but would signal everything to someone trained in Japanese fieldcraft. Takeshi Yamamoto is following, observing, studying, learning everything about the American hunter, preparing for what must come. 400 yards from Will's camp, Yamamoto sits in darkness. He's reading by the light of a shielded candle, a letter from home, 4 months delayed by military mail routes, from his daughter Akiko. The paper is thin, the handwriting careful, feminine. He reads slowly, savoring each character. Father, the war ended 3 months ago. I waited as you asked in your last letter. Now I write with news. I am engaged to be married. His name is Hiroshi. He is kind. He works at the sake brewery in the village. He knows I wait for word of you before we can wed. I wish you could meet him. I wish you could walk me through the ceremony. But I pray you are alive to receive this. The village says many soldiers will not return. Please, if you can come home. The mountain misses you. I miss you. Your loving daughter, Akiko. Yamamoto reads the letter 3 times, folds it carefully, places it in his breast pocket over his heart. He will never meet Hiroshi, will never walk his daughter through any ceremony. He knows this, has known since he received orders to stay behind during the retreat. The Japanese forces are withdrawing from Bougainville. Consolidating, the island is lost, but Yamamoto requested permission to remain. To continue the hunt. Command approved. They understand. Sometimes a warrior's final duty is to die well, to take as many enemies as possible before the end. But Yamamoto has a different purpose now. He's not hunting Americans in general. He's hunting one specific American, the sniper with the strange rifle, the one who moves like a mountain hunter, the one who understands. Yamamoto has decided this will be his Shimagari, his final hunt, the last great test before death. And if he falls to this American, there will be honor in it. Better to die to a worthy opponent than to waste away in a forgotten jungle. He pulls out his own journal, sketches from memory the American's face. He's seen it through the scope twice now. Young, maybe mid-20s, strong jaw, serious eyes, the face of a man who understands what he's doing, who carries the weight. Yamamoto writes beneath the sketch in careful Japanese characters, a worthy hunter. When we meet, it will be as equals. The mountain will choose. Before sleeping, Yamamoto performs his ritual, plants a seed, cypress, brought from Japan in a small pouch. He's planted one for each of his 46 kills. In 100 years, he tells the darkness this jungle will have 46 cypress trees. My debt to the mountain. He waters the seed with precious drinking water, says a prayer, then melts back into the jungle like smoke. March 28th. Mission number 8. Will is assigned to clear a sniper harassing the supply route to Firebase Echo. 3 Marines killed in 2 days. Same location, same method. Single shots from an elevated position no one can find. The firebase needs supplies, ammunition, medical gear, food. But trucks won't move until the sniper is eliminated. Will goes alone. Prefers it that way now. Sets up an observation post at dawn, 200 yards from the suspected sniper position. Goes prone in the undergrowth. Settles in for the wait. Hours pass. 6 of them. The sun climbs. His position becomes an oven. Sweat soaks his uniform. Leeches attached to his legs and arms. Fat with his blood. He ignores them. All focus on the tree line ahead. 1,400 hours. Supply convoy scheduled. Will knows the sniper will fire. Watches, waiting for the shot that will reveal the position. The convoy appears. 5 trucks, Marines riding exposed on the back. Will scans frantically through his scope. Where are you where the first Marine of the lead truck reaches the kill zone? Will hears the shot, but it comes from behind him. Impossible. The bullet grazes his helmet, spins him sideways. The sniper wasn't where Will expected, wasn't ahead, was behind, waiting for Will. This whole thing was a trap, not for the convoy, for him. Will rolls into a depression, heart hammering, the first time he's been truly surprised, truly outplayed. He scrambles backward, uses terrain, reaches boulder cover, copes the area behind his previous position. Nothing. Then movement. Flicker of fabric. There. Ghillie suit. 40 yards. Perfect camouflage. If the wearer hadn't moved, Will never would have seen him. Will fires. Miss. The figure vanishes. How a second shot impacts the boulder inches from Will's head. Rock chips spray his face, cut his cheek. The sniper is moving between shots. Advanced tactics. Not standard Japanese doctrine. This is someone special. Someone trained beyond the normal level. Will extracts, uses covering fire from Firebase Echo Marines who heard the shooting, gets back to friendly lines with his heart still racing, his hands shaking. First time that's happened. First time he's felt genuinely afraid. That night, he finds another note on his rifle case. Translation comes from the battalion interpreter the next morning. You are skilled American. But I have killed 43 of your countrymen. You have killed 8. You are still learning. When you reach 20, I will give you one chance, one shot. If you miss, I will kill you. If you succeed, tell my daughter the mountain collected its debt. Her name is Akiko. Nagano Prefecture, Ekur, Takeshi Yamamoto, Shadow of Mount Norakura. Will reads the translation 3 times. The Japanese sniper has a name, a daughter, a home. This isn't some faceless enemy anymore. This is a man, a hunter, someone who thinks about legacy, about what happens if he falls. Will folds the note, puts it with the first one, sits on his cot and thinks. Lieutenant Hayes, battalion intelligence officer, interviews Will the next day. Wants details, description, tactics observed. Will describes everything. Hayes cross-references with captured documents, intelligence reports. Comes back 2 days later with a file. Sergeant Takeshi Yamamoto, age approximately 44, pre-war professional hunting guide. Nagano Prefecture, Mountain Region. Volunteered for military service 1941. Too old for regular infantry. Selected for specialist sniper training. Graduated top of his class. Credited with 46 confirmed kills across the Pacific Theater. Considered one of Japan's elite kid. Known for psychological warfare. Leaves messages, challenges opponents, makes it personal. Hayes looks at Will across the field desk. This guy is the best they have, Hartman. You're not just being hunted, you're being hunted by a legend. Will meets his eyes. No, sir. I'm being hunted by another hunter. There's a difference. Hayes doesn't understand but nods anyway. Be careful out there. Will promises nothing. April 1st through 10th. The tally continues. Mission 9. A young Japanese soldier, maybe 19, positioned in a makeshift hide. Amateur construction. Will spots him in 30 minutes. Clean headshot at 180 yards. When they search the body later, intelligence finds a diary. Sketches of mountains, family, poetry. The translator reads some aloud. I miss Nagano. I miss hunting with grandfather. I want to go home. Will vomits after that mission. First time. Danny Reeves finds him behind the supply tent, heaving, nothing in his stomach, but he can't stop. Danny doesn't say anything, just sits with him, hands him a canteen. Will rinses his mouth, spits. This one was just a kid, he says. Danny nods. They're all somebody's kid. Even the old ones were kids once. Will knows this. Knowing doesn't help. Kills 10 through 14 come in the next week. Each mission successful, each elimination clean. But the toll mounts. Will lose his weight. His hands develop a faint tremor when he's not gripping the rifle. Sleep becomes difficult. He sees their faces, the ones he's killed, especially the young one, the boy with the diary. In dreams, the boy asks him questions. Why did you kill me? I was just following orders like you. Will has no answers. The other Marines notice. Captain Morrison orders him to see the battalion chaplain. Will goes, sits across from Chaplain Father O'Brien. Irish, Boston accent, kind eyes. They talk for an hour. Will explains about the faces, the guilt, the weight of it. O'Brien listens without judgment. Does God forgive soldiers? Father Will asks. O'Brien thinks before answering. God understands the difference between murder and duty. Son, you're not executing prisoners. You're protecting your brothers from men trying to kill them. That's righteous work. But it's still killing, still taking lives, and that changes a man. The key is not letting it turn you into something you're not. Will nods. Doesn't feel absolved, but feels heard. Sometimes that's enough. April 12th, Will requests assignment to clear a sector called the Green Hell, 2-mile jungle stretch, 4 patrols ambushed in 3 days. Intelligence estimates 6 or more Japanese snipers operating in overlapping fields of fire. It's a meat grinder, a killing corridor no Marine unit can penetrate without casualties. Morrison hesitates. You're not at full capacity, Hartman. You need rest. Will shakes his head. Neither are the men dying out there, sir. I'm going. Morrison approves the mission. Will moves out alone at dawn, studies his map, identifies likely positions based on terrain and previous attack patterns. Works methodically, sector by sector. Kill 15 comes at 0800 hours. Sniper reveals himself by firing at a decoy patrol Will arranged with Morrison. Will tracks the sound, spots the muzzle flash, returns fire within seconds. The sniper falls from his tree position. One down. Will relocates immediately, knows his shot gave away his position, circles south, uses a dry stream bed for cover, approaches the next suspected position from an unexpected angle. Kill 16 is more cautious. Doesn't fire. But Will spots him anyway. Slight discoloration in tree bark where the sniper modified the trunk to create a shooting port. Will fires through the port. Two down. By 1100 hours, the count is 4. By 1400, it's 6. Each engagement different, each requiring its own solution. One sniper dug a spider hole at ground level, concealed under vegetation. Will found him by watching for leaf movement when there was no wind. Another positioned himself in a bombed-out tree trunk. Will spotted the glint of his rifle scope, took the shot through a gap in the debris. The sixth and final sniper is the most difficult. Experienced, disciplined, never fires, never moves. Will spends 3 hours searching before finally spotting the faint outline against a massive tree trunk. The shot is over 300 yards, through dense foliage. Upward angle. Will takes his time, compensates for every variable. Distance, wind, humidity, the upward trajectory. He fires. The bullet travels true. The sniper falls. The green hell goes quiet. Patrols move through without a single shot fired. Will walks back that evening. Rifle slung, face blank, covered in mud and insect bites. His uniform hangs loose. He's lost 20 pounds since landing on Bougainville. Sergeant Kowalski meets him at the perimeter. Just stares for a moment, then nods once. No words needed. Will has done something unprecedented. Cleared an entire sector solo. 20 confirmed kills now. But that night, going through his gear, will find something that makes his blood run cold. A package, small, wrapped in oilcloth, placed in his tent while he was on mission. Inside is a carved wooden bird, exactly like the one Will took from his second kill. A photograph and a note. The photograph freezes him, black and white, grainy but clear. It's him, Will Hartman, taken 4 days ago near Firebase Echo, in the frame of a rifle scope, crosshairs centered perfectly on his chest. The image shows every detail, the sweat on his face, the concentration in his eyes, the Springfield in his hands. Yamamoto had him, dead to rights, perfect shot, and chose not to take it. Translation: you took this from my student. He was 19. He carved birds to remember his daughter. I return it to you so you remember. Every kill has a story. You are not executing targets. You are ending stories. As am I. I have had 12 clear shots at you, American hunter. 12 times I could have ended you. I did not. You are learning, but you are not ready. When you reach 20 kills, we will meet as equals. Only then. Takeshi Yamamoto. Will sits on his cot holding the bird, realizes the truth. The young soldier with the diary. The boy who missed hunting with his grandfather. That was Yamamoto's student, someone he trained, someone he cared about, and Will killed him. The war just became impossibly more personal. He thinks about his own father, about Samuel teaching him to hunt. If Will died out here, how would Samuel feel? How would he want Will's killer to remember him? Will places the carved bird carefully in his pack, next to his father's letters, next to the lucky silver dollar from home. These things matter. These objects of memory and loss, they're all that's left when the stories end. April 13th, Will wakes before dawn to use the latrine. Returns to his tent. Something's wrong. The dirt around his tent entrance. Disturbed. He kneels, studies the ground in the gray pre-dawn light. Boot prints circling his tent, not American combat boots. Tabi, split-toe Japanese footwear, fresh, made during the night while he slept. The prints circle completely. Stop at the tent flap, where someone stood, watching, listening to Will breathe, then move away into the jungle. Danny Reeves comes by for morning coffee, sees Will crouched at the prints. What have you got? Will points. Danny's face goes white. Jesus Christ, Will. He was here, right here, while you were sleeping. Could have killed you, slit your throat. Will nods slowly, or he's testing me, seeing if I'm worthy, seeing if I can sense a hunter even in sleep. Danny doesn't understand, doesn't need to, but the message is clear. Yamamoto isn't just hunting Will from a distance. He's close, intimate, studying everything. The kills, the technique, the habits, the humanity, building a complete picture before the final confrontation. Will burns the boot prints with his boot, obscures the evidence. Some things the other Marines don't need to know. Some fears are his alone to carry. April 20th, Mission 21, Will assigned to clear a sniper harassing medical convoy routes. Same routine. Pre-dawn insertion, long wait. Convoy comes at 0900, sniper fires. Wounds a corpsman. Will tracks the shot, identifies position. Dense thicket, 200 yards. Returns fire. Confirmed kill. Standard procedure. Except when they recover the body, everything changes. The sniper is a woman, approximately 25 years old. Specialist patch indicates training at Nakano School. Elite. Diary found in her pack. Yuki Tanaka. Village hunter before the war. Volunteered after her brother was killed at Guadalcanal. Intelligence translates key passages. I will avenge him. I will make the Americans pay for taking my family. I will hunt them as I hunted deer in the mountains with my brother. Will stares at her body. All his assumptions shatter. He thought he was fighting soldiers, men conditioned for war. But this was a sister, a daughter, someone who hunted with family, someone exactly like him. Just on the wrong side of a war, neither of them started. Danny Reeves sees Will's face. You okay? Will shakes his head. No, I'm not okay. None of this is okay. But it's what we do. It's the job. Danny grips his shoulder. The job doesn't mean you have to like it. It means you have to do it. And you're saving Marine lives. Every sniper you take out is dozens of our guys who go home. Remember that. Will tries. But that night he dreams of the woman. Yuki Tanaka. Dreams she's hunting with her brother. Both of them laughing. Mountain air cold and clean. Then the dream shifts. Her brother falls, shot by Americans. She screams, picks up his rifle, swears vengeance, becomes what kills her. The cycle, endless. Will wakes in cold sweat. 21 confirmed kills. 3 more come in the next 4 days, all clean, all necessary, all adding weight to Will's shoulders. He's functional but hollow, going through motions. Danny notices. Where's your head? Will's doing a relationship. Will answers. That's all that matters. But it's not all that matters, and both of them know it. April 26th. Intelligence breakthrough. A captured Japanese communications officer under interrogation reveals key information. There's a sniper, a legend, Yamamoto. He's obsessed with the American sniper, requested permission to stay behind during the retreat. His mission is to kill the American counter-sniper. Restore morale. It's a suicide mission. He expects to die trying, but he won't leave until the American is dead. The officer provides a location hint. Operating near the river crossing. Grid sector Tango 7. The river is strategic. Only ford for miles. Choke point. If Yamamoto controls it, Marine movements are severely restricted. Morrison briefs Will. It's a trap, Hartman. He wants you there. Will nods. I know, sir. That's why I'm going. Morrison starts to argue. Will cuts him off gently. This has to end, one way or another. It ends at that river. That evening, Will writes letters, first to his mother, tells her he loves her, asks her to take care of Samuel Jr., the baby brother he's never met, born while Will was overseas. If I don't come back, he writes, tell Sammy about Dad. Tell him about the mountains. Tell him to hunt with respect. Second letter he starts but can't finish. To Akiko Yamamoto, Nagano Prefecture. If I survive and your father doesn't, I don't know what to say to you. How do I explain killing your father when I respect him more than anyone I've met in this war? He stops writing. Folds the unfinished letter, tucks it away. Some things can't be written, can only be lived, or not lived. He cleans his rifle. The mailbox gun that saved his life 24 times. Oils the action, checks the scope mounting, tests the trigger pull, Everything perfect. Everything ready. Danny finds him at midnight. You don't have to do this alone. We can send a squad. Surround the area. Will shakes his head. No, this is between hunters. Has to be clean. Has to be honorable. Danny doesn't understand but respects it. Burke, the lance corporal who mocked the catalog gun, approaches. Awkward. Hartman, he says. Good hunting. Will nods. Thanks, Burke. The squad passes around Hershey bars. Each man breaks off a piece for Will. Luck chocolate. Will pockets them all, saving them for after, if there is an after. April 27th, the night before. Will can't sleep, sits cleaning his rifle again even though it doesn't need it. Finds the carved bird Yamamoto returned, studies it in the lamplight. Beautiful work, delicate, made with love, made by a boy who missed his daughter. A boy Will killed, a boy Yamamoto trained. This war has destroyed so many beautiful things. So many stories ended before their time. Will makes a decision, takes his knife, cuts small notches in the Springfield stock. 23 of them. One for each kill before Yamamoto. 23 lives taken. 23 stories ended. 23 debts owed to the mountain. He runs his thumb over the notches, feels them, remembers. The mountain demands remembering. His father taught him that. Yamamoto knows it too. That's why they're the same. That's why this has to end with honor. At 0400 April 28th, Will Hartman moves toward the river, alone carrying the rifle everyone mocked, walking toward a duel with a man he's never met but understands completely. The jungle is dark, the air heavy. Somewhere ahead, Takeshi Yamamoto waits. Both men know what comes next. The mountain has demanded yet. 2 hunters, 1 hunt. And when the sun rises, one story will end. The other will carry the weight of that ending for the rest of his days. But neither man knows yet that 35 years later, their children will stand together on a mountain in Japan, planting seeds, honoring both fathers, finding peace in a war that tried to destroy it. The mountain gives, the mountain takes. And sometimes, if you wait long enough, the mountain heals. April 28, 1944. Dawn comes to Bougainville like it comes everywhere else, indifferent to the violence men plan beneath it. The river runs shallow here, knee-deep where the current slows around the bend. The water is brown with silt. The banks are thick with vegetation. Good concealment, good killing ground. Perfect place for a final hunt. Will Hartman reaches his position at 0400 hours. Full dark still. He wades into the shallows on the eastern bank, goes prone, half his body submerged, mud across his face, vegetation draped over his helmet and shoulders, the Springfield cradled in his elbows, scope protected. He settles, becomes part of the river, part of the jungle. His father's teachings made flesh. The mountain rewards patience. Rush and you die. Leeches find him within minutes, attached to his legs, his arms, his neck, fat bodies swelling with his blood. He ignores them. All focus forward, scanning the opposite bank, the upstream positions, the downstream hides. Somewhere within 200 yards, Takeshi Yamamoto waits. Will can feel it, the presence of another hunter, the weight of mutual recognition. They're both here, both ready. The mountain has brought them to this moment. Hours pass, the sun rises, filters through the canopy, turns the river into mercury and shadow. Temperature climbs, 90 degrees, 95. The humidity is crushing. Will's uniform is soaked, not from the river, from sweat. His muscles cramp from holding the position. His bladder screams. He ignores everything, breathes slowly, stays motionless. This is the ultimate test, not marksmanship. Patience. Whoever moves first loses. Upstream 200 yards distant, Yamamoto lies in an identical position. Northern bank, partially submerged, camouflaged perfectly. He too has been here since before dawn. He too endures the leeches, the heat, the cramping, the discomfort. This is what separates real hunters from soldiers playing at hunting. The ability to suffer in silence, to wait beyond reason, to become stone. Yamamoto thinks about his daughter. Akiko will be 18 now. No longer the child he left. Probably taller, probably beautiful like her mother. He hopes Hiroshi treats her well, hopes the man understands what a gift he's been given. Yamamoto will never know, never meet his son by law, never hold grandchildren. This river is where his story ends. He's made peace with that. Better to die well than to deed meaninglessly. Better to fall to a worthy opponent than to waste away forgotten. He thinks about the American, studies the eastern bank through his scope, knows the hunter is there somewhere, can't spot him. That's good. That means the American has learned, has earned this moment. Yamamoto feels something unexpected. Pride. Strange to feel pride for an enemy. But the American is not really an enemy, not in the way that matters. He's a brother hunter, born to different mothers in different lands but shaped by the same forces. The mountain, the patience, the respect for the prey. In another life, they would have been friends. In this life, they must kill each other. The mountain demands it. 1,300 hours. The sun directly overhead. Both men have been in position for 9 hours. Neither has moved more than to blink. This is beyond human endurance. This is something else, something primal. The ancient contest between predator and prey. Except both men are predators. Both are prey. The duality of the hunt made manifest. 13:43 hours. Marine patrol appears on the southern approach. 8 men, moving carefully toward the river crossing. This is the bait, authorized by Captain Morrison. Every man in that patrol knows he might draw the fatal shot, knows he's being used to flush out a sniper. They do it anyway, because Will Hartman has saved dozens of their brothers. Turnabout is fair. They owe him this. Private Chen reaches the water first. Young kid, California, wants to be a teacher after the war. Steps into the current, rifle held high, alert, scanning. 13:44 hours. Yamamoto fires. The crack echoes across the water. Chen flinches. The bullet splashes 3 feet to his left. A deliberate miss. Yamamoto's honor. He won't kill bait, won't murder the innocent to draw out the hunter. This is between him and the American. No one else needs to die. But the shot reveals his position. Tiny muzzle flash, upstream left, 30 yards from Will's position. Will sees it, focuses. There. Camouflage spider hole. Nearly invisible. Just a shadow darker than other shadows. But Will knows. That's him. That's Yamamoto. The moment he's been preparing for. 23 kills, 6 weeks, all leading here. Will fires. The Springfield's crack merges with the river sounds. The bullet travels true, punches through the camouflage netting Yamamoto constructed. Hits him upper right chest, lung shot. Fatal but not instant. Yamamoto jerks. The impact spins him partially out of his hide. He's already dying but maintains discipline. Returns fire even as blood fills his chest. His shot grazes Will's shoulder. Tears fabric and skin. Close. So close. If Yamamoto's lung wasn't filling with blood, if his aim wasn't degraded by the wound that shot kills Will. But the mountain has chosen. Both men visible now, the concealment broken. Will 30 yards downstream, Yamamoto 30 yards up. For 1.5 seconds, they see each other clearly. Not through scopes, not as shadows, as men. Will sees an older face, weathered by sun and wind, strong features, calm eyes, no hatred there, no rage, just acceptance. And something else, respect. Yamamoto's mouth moves, forms a word. Will reads his lips clearly across 30 yards of river water. Arigato. Thank you, not in English, in Japanese, but Will understands. Thanks for being worthy. Thanks for the hunt. Thanks for ending it with honor. Thanks for making my death mean something. For a fraction of a second, Will's finger freezes on the trigger. Wants to stop. Wants to call out. Wants to say the same thing back. Brother, worthy. Thank you. But Yamamoto is already dying. Lung shot, blood filling his chest. To let him suffer is cruelty. The mountain demands clean kills. Will's second shot is mercy. Muscle memory, the hunter's reflex. Headshot. Yamamoto drops into the shallow water. Still, the echo of the shot fades. Silence crashes down. The jungle holds its breath. Private Chen and the patrol stand frozen, watching, understanding they've witnessed something. Not just a kill, something more. something ancient and terrible and beautiful. Will stays down, scans for additional contacts, waits 3 minutes. Nothing. He rises slowly, shoulder bleeding but superficial. Wades upstream. The patrol medic shouts, "Hartman, let me check that shoulder." Will waves him off. In a minute. He needs to see, needs to know. Yamamoto lies face up in 6 inches of water, eyes open, staring at the canopy, at the sky beyond. His chest is still, blood clouds the water around him. Will kneels, reaches out, closes Yamamoto's eyes with his hand, the way his father taught him to close the eyes of deer. With respect, with gratitude for the life given. "Thank you for the hunt," Will whispers. "Thank you for being worthy." Danny Reeves splashes up beside him. "It's over, Will. You got him." Will shakes his head. "No, no one got anyone. We did what the mountain demanded, and now I have to finish it." Danny doesn't understand, doesn't need to. Will searches Yamamoto's body, finds a waterproof pouch, opens it. Inside are items that will change everything. A knife, old, beautiful, 400 years old, katana blade converted for hunting. The family blade, a photograph, young woman, maybe 15 or 16, mountain background, standing with a rifle, proud. Akiko, has to be. A letter addressed to Akiko and a second letter, this one addressed to Will, to American Hunter. Will's hands shake opening the second letter, written in English. Yamamoto prepared this, knew he might fall, wanted to leave words. The handwriting is careful, each character formed precisely. Will reads, "American Hunter, if you read this, you won. You were worthy. I am honored to die by your hand. I have killed 46 of your countrymen. You have killed 24 of mine, including my 2 best students, the boy who carved birds, the woman who hunted with her brother. Both learned from me. Both died by your hand. We are even now. Teacher and students all fall into one hunter. The mountain is satisfied. I ask one thing. Find my daughter Akiko, Nagano Prefecture. Tell her I died well. Tell her I was a hunter, not a monster. Tell her the American who killed me was also a hunter and that I respected him. The knife is 400 years old. Yamamoto family. Give to your son. Hunter to hunter, generation to generation. We are not enemies. We are brothers of the mountain. Takeshi Yamamoto, shadow of Mount Norakura, will sits on the riverbank, holding the letter, the knife, the photograph. Around him, Marines are securing the area, calling in the all clear. But Will hears none of it. He's looking at Akiko's photograph, seeing her father's features in her face, seeing his own future, the burden he must carry, the promise he must keep. Danny sits beside him. You okay? Will shakes his head. I killed a man who left me his family knife, who asked me to tell his daughter he died well, who called me his brother. How am I supposed to be okay with that? Danny has no answer. Neither does Will. But he folds the letter carefully, wraps the knife in the oiled cloth Yamamoto provided, places everything in his pack. Someday, when the war ends, when the world makes sense again, he'll find Akiko. He'll deliver the message. He'll keep the promise. It's all he can do. All he has left to give. That night, Will carves the 24th notch in his rifle stock. The final one. 24 lives taken, 24 stories ended. But this one is different. This one he'll remember forever. Not because Yamamoto was more skilled than the others, not because the duel was more dangerous, but because Yamamoto saw him, knew him, respected him, called him brother across the gap of war and language and nation. That kind of recognition changes a man, makes the killing personal in a way it never was before. May 1st, 1944. Bougainville transitions to defensive posture. The island is secured, counter-sniper operations cease. Will returns to standard infantry duties. The Springfield is packed away, scope removed, wrapped in oilcloth, stored in his footlocker. The mailbox gun has done its work. 24 enemy snipers eliminated, hundreds of Marines saved. But Will takes no pride in the numbers, only carries the weight. The war grinds on. Will's unit deploys to Peleliu in September. One of the bloodiest battles in the Pacific Theater. House-to-house fighting, cave-to-cave close quarters brutality that makes Bougainville look gentle. Will fights as a rifleman, carries the Springfield, but never mounts the scope, never takes sniper shots. That part of him is finished. Done. He survives Peleliu through luck and the toughness his Pennsylvania mountains gave him. But he accumulates scars, shrapnel in his leg, burns on his hands, wounds that will ache on cold mornings for the rest of his life. August 15th, 1945. The war ends. Will is in a hospital ship recovering from minor shrapnel wounds. Here's the announcement over the ship's speakers. Japan has surrendered. The Pacific War is over. Around him men cheer, cry, embrace. Will feels nothing at first. Numb, then relief. Overwhelming relief. He can go home, can see his mother, can meet the brother he's never held, can try to rebuild something from the fragments of who he was before. September 1945. Will returns to Pennsylvania, steps off the train in Harrisburg, searches the crowd for his mother, finds her standing with his aunt. Sarah Hartman has aged a decade in 3 years. Hair more gray than brown, face lined with worry and loss, but her eyes light up when she sees him. They embrace. She smiles. He holds her, feels her frailty, realizes his father's death broke something in her that will never fully heal. They drive to his aunt's house. That's where Sarah lives now. Couldn't stay in the family home after Samuel died. Too many memories, too much absence. Will understands. At the house, he meets Samuel Jr. for the first time. 14 months old, toddling, curious, dark hair like their father. Same serious eyes. The boy stares at Will. This tall stranger in uniform. Will kneels, offers his hand. "Hey, Sammy, I'm your brother." The boy considers, then smiles. Grabs Will's finger. In that moment, something in Will's chest cracks open. All the emotion he buried for 3 years comes flooding out. He scoops up his brother, holds him, cries. Sarah watches, understands. Some wounds can only heal with time and family. That evening after Sammy is asleep, Will tells his mother about Yamamoto, about the promise. Sarah listens without interruption. When he finishes, she's quiet for a long moment. Then she speaks. "Your father taught you to honor your word, even to the dead, especially to the dead. If you made that promise, you keep it, no matter how long it takes." Will nods. But Japan is occupied. Mail service is unreliable. He has no way to find Akiko, no address except Nagano Prefecture. No way to contact her, Sarah thinks. Then says you'll find a way, or she'll find you. The mountain brought you together with her father. The mountain will bring you to her. Trust that. Will wants to trust. But the years pass and no connection comes. 1946. He writes to the Marine Corps, asks for help locating the family of Sergeant Takeshi Yamamoto. The request is denied, no resources for such efforts. 1947. He contacts veteran organizations, Japanese-American groups, anyone who might have connections. Nothing. 1948. He marries Anna Chen, a nurse he met at a veteran support group. She understands trauma without needing explanations. They build a quiet life together. House on the edge of the mountains where Will learned to hunt. He takes a job at the lumber mill where his father worked. Normal life, peaceful life. But the promise weighs on him. 1950, his son is born, William Hartman Jr. Will holds the baby, looks into his eyes, thinks about Yamamoto, about the knife in the footlocker, about the promise unkept. Someday, he tells his son silently, someday I'll finish this. But how Japan is across the world. Akiko could be anywhere, could be dead for all he knows. The war killed millions. What are the odds she survived? But he keeps trying, keeps writing letters, keeps hoping. 1979. Will is 61 years old. His son William Jr. is 29. Married, starting his own family. Will is a grandfather now. Life has been good, quiet. The war is a distant memory for most people. For Will, it's yesterday. Every day he still dreams about the river, about Yamamoto's face, about the word arigato, still carries the guilt of an unkept promise. October 1979. A package arrives, U.S. mail, Postmark Tokyo. Return address shows A. Yamamoto Sato, Nagano Prefecture, aware. Will's hands shake opening it. Inside is a letter written in English. The handwriting is masculine. Strong. Not Akiko's hand, but translated by someone else. Will reads, standing in his kitchen. Anna watches, worried. Will's face goes pale. Then he cries. First time Anna has seen him cry since Sammy's funeral 3 years ago. The letter is from Akiko. She's 53 now, married, named Sato. Her son Takeshi, the second name for his grandfather, studied English in university. He translated this letter. A historian researching the Battle of Bougainville found Will's old letters to Veteran Affairs, the ones from the late 40s and early 50s. The historian located Akiko, gave her Will's information. Now she writes, Dear Mr. Hartman, I am Akiko Yamamoto Sato, daughter of Takeshi Yamamoto. For 35 years, I wondered how my father died. Japanese military only said killed in action, honorable death. I visited Mount Norakura every year as he asked. I waited for an American to come with answers. Thank you for trying to find me. Thank you for keeping his knife safe. Thank you for respecting him enough to write. My father's final letter to me arrived in 1946, delayed 2 years. He wrote, if American hunter comes, treat his family. He will understand mountain. I understand now. You are both hunters. War made you enemies, but the mountain made you brothers. I forgive you for killing my father. He died as he lived with honor as a hunter. That is all he wanted. If you can visit Japan, please come to Nagano. Bring your son. I will show you the mountain where my father taught me to hunt. We will plant cypress seed together for both our fathers. The mountain demands balance. One death, one life. One meeting, one peace. With respect and gratitude, Akiko Yamamoto Sato. Will reads the letter 3 times, hands it to Anna. She reads, looks at him. Are you going to go? Will nods. I have to. I made a promise 35 years ago. To Yamamoto, to myself, to the mountain. It's time to keep it. Summer 1980. Will Hartman, age 62, and his son William Jr., age 30, traveled to Japan. First time Will has left the United States since 1945. First time back in Asia. The memories flood back. The heat, the humidity, the smell of the Pacific. But this isn't war. This is peace. This is healing. They take trains from Tokyo to Nagano. The landscape is beautiful. Mountains green and ancient. Reminds Will of Pennsylvania, but more dramatic. Sharper peaks, deeper valleys. Akiko meets them at the station. She's accompanied by her son Takeshi II, age 27, strong young man, serious eyes like his grandfather. Born 7 years after the war ended, 7 years after Akiko finally accepted her father wasn't coming home. The 4 of them stand on the platform. Awkward. Decades of history between them. Death and loss and war. Will breaks the silence. Shows Akiko the knife. Your father's. He asked me to give it to my son. To continue the tradition. Hunter to hunter. Generation to generation. But I think it should be yours first. To hold. To remember him by. Akiko takes the knife. Her hands shake. She pulls it partially from the sheath. Sees the blade. 400 years old. She remembers her father teaching her to hunt with this blade. Field dressing, Iro. Planting seeds. Talking about balance. She closes her eyes. Tears stream down her face. Thank you, she whispers. Thank you for keeping it safe. Thank you for honoring him. They embrace. American and Japanese. Veteran and daughter. 2 families joined by violence, now joined by respect. William Jr. and Takeshi II shake hands, then embrace. The next generation. Born after the war, carrying no hatred, only the legacy of hunters who honored each other. Akiko leads them to Mount Norakura. They hike for 3 hours, reach a spot overlooking the valley. This is where my father taught me, she says. This is where he said the mountain watches. This is where I came every year to honor his memory. And now you're here. Now we can finish it together. She has brought 2 seeds, Japanese cypress for her father, American oak for Samuel Hartman, Will's father. They plant them side by side. Akiko performs a Shinto ritual. Prayers for the dead, for peace, for balance. Will recites Ecclesiastes. To everything there is a season, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. His father's favorite passage, fitting for this moment. When it's done, they sit together overlooking the valley. Will tells Akiko about the duel, about her father's courage, his skill, his honor, how he called Will brother, how he died with dignity. Akiko listens, cries, nods. Then she tells Will about her father before the war, the hunting guide, the patient teacher, the loving father who raised her alone after her mother died, how he never wanted to be a soldier, only wanted to hunt and teach and live in the mountains. But duty called, and he answered, because that's what men of honor do. As the sun sets over Mount Norakura, Akiko speaks. I have waited 39 years to thank the man who gave my father an honorable death. Most men in war die meaninglessly, forgotten. My father died in a duel with a hunter he respected. That matters. That means something. Will responds quietly. And I've waited 35 years to apologize for taking your father from you. Akiko shakes her head. The mountain took him. The mountain gave him to you. The mountain is satisfied now. We are satisfied now. They camp on the mountain that night. 4 of them, 2 families, talking late into the darkness, sharing stories, finding the humanity that war tried to destroy. In the morning they descend together, make plans to stay in touch. William Jr. and Takeshi exchange addresses, promise to write, to visit, to maintain the connection their fathers and grandfather forged in blood and honor. Will Hartman dies in 1986, age 68. Heart attack, quick, peaceful. His funeral is attended by dozens of Marines, men he served with, men whose lives he saved on Bougainville. Danny Reeves delivers the eulogy, talks about the mailbox gun, about Will's courage, his skill, his humanity, about how he killed 24 enemy snipers but never became a killer, remained a hunter, remained human, remained honorable. Kiko sends flowers. A letter. Read at the funeral by William Jr. Your father was a great man, not because he was a warrior, because he was a hunter who understood the weight of taking life, because he kept his promise across 35 years, because he honored my father when he could have just forgotten. The mountain is at peace. Will is at peace. We are all at peace, Awamo. Thank you for sharing him with the world. Will's Springfield rifle with its commercial scope is donated to the Pennsylvania Veterans Museum. Anna makes the donation anonymously. No plaque explaining its history. No story of the 24 kills. Just a simple label. Springfield 1903 with commercial scope used in Pacific Theater. It sits in a glass case among dozens of other weapons. Museum visitors pass it without a second glance. They don't know what it did. Who carried it? What promises it represents? But Akiko knows. She visits every 2 years when she comes to America to see the Hartman family. William Jr. and his children, the grandchildren who call her auntie. She stands in front of the case, looks at the rifle, sees the 24 notches carved in the stock, counts them, knows the last one is her father, whispers a prayer. Thanks, Will. Thanks the mountain. Thanks the strange path that brought 2 families together across war and death and decades. The seeds they planted on Mount Norakura grow. By 2020, 40 years later, the cypress is 15 feet tall. The oak is 12 feet. They stand together on that mountain, Japanese and American, side by side, growing toward the same sky, fed by the same soil. In 100 years, they'll be giants. In 200 years, massive. Standing watch over the valley. Silent monuments to 2 hunters who respected each other enough to plant seeds after one killed the other. That's the legacy. Not the 24 kills, not the duel, not even the courage or the skill. The legacy is the seeds, the healing, the next generation free of hatred, the promise kept, the mountain satisfied. 2 old hunters, 1 American and 1 Japanese, who taught their children that honor transcends war, that respect transcends nation, that the mountain gives and the mountain takes, but the mountain also heals if you let it. Will Hartman used a mail-order gun to kill 24 Japanese snipers. They called him suicidal until it worked. They called him a hero after, but he never called himself anything. Just a hunter, doing what hunters do, taking life to protect life, honoring the prey, keeping promises, planting seeds. And in the end, that's all any of us can do. Honor the dead, keep our promises, plant seeds for the next generation. Trust the mountain to balance the scales. Will did that, Yamamoto did that, their children did that. And somewhere on a mountain in Japan, two trees grow taller every year, reaching for the sky testament to hunters who became brothers, enemies who became family, and a promise kept across 35 years and 10,000 miles. They called him suicidal for using a catalog gun. They were wrong. Will Hartman survived because he respected the hunt, respected the prey, respected the mountain that taught him everything. And in the end, the mountain rewarded that respect with something war usually destroys. Peace. Not just survival. Peace. The 24th kill haunted him for 35 years. Then it healed him. Healed two families. Healed the wound war had opened. That's the power of respect, of keeping promises, of honoring even your enemies. The mountain demanded. They answered. The mountain is satisfied. And their story told now will not be forgotten.